What's up, everybody? This is Super Mike 2164. Another day, another murder. The police just murdered young brother, Jalen Walker. That's his mama, and that's his sister next to him. We'll get into that. The Milet cop, police chief. See them showing it again.
I can ask our community members to please stand with me for just 1 second. Chief Marco.
Now just look at how white people do. They come in with this fake prayer. They just killed this boy, Jalen Walker. This is in Akron, Ohio. Remember, we just talked about Akron, Ohio a week ago, a little while ago, because they had been running this propaganda through the media in Akron, Ohio, talking about Ethan Lemming, because he got his behind stomped out because he and a few of his friends was running around Akron, Ohio, shooting these type of guns at black people, which are automatic guns with little pellets in them, and they modify them to make that stuff hurt a little bit more. What's going on, everybody? Press the thumbs up, share the stream. We're going to get into a little bit. We're going to touch on a few things. We're going to touch on some current events, some spiritual stuff, basically. And then we always end off with some suggested solutions. That's how we do it. But, we got to go through a process, because we went through a process to get our minds in this state where we don't really defend ourselves properly. But, so we got to go through this process to get us out of this state. And a lot of people, you don't really have a choice. This is what we got to go through. So just understand it, position yourself properly so that you and your lineage can make it through. So we just going to keep going.
There's no doubt that the video you just watched is extremely disturbing and will stir a lot of emotions and feeling. It's shocking and hard to take in. But what we are collectively calling for is peace this afternoon. It's the same thing Mr. Walker's family is calling for, and it's the ask of everyone standing here with me in the community. Peace for our city, peace for our community, and peace for our residents. Thank you. Thank you all.
I understand the public's demand for information now. I understand that. I have questions that I want answered now. However, I echo the Walker's family's request for patience. We keep going back to the Walker family. They're requesting patience, peace, and to allow the process to run its course. Since Monday morning, information about this shooting has been disseminated through various outlets. I would encourage people to wait for BCI to conclude their investigation, submit their investigation to the Attorney General's office, and then the grand jury. The damage of spreading misinformation.
Now, you see this guy talking about misinformation, and that's all they spread. They spread misinformation. This is what they do. And I'm just going to go through a few of these things. We're going to go through now, right now, actually a week ago, this is some fires. It was like a couple weeks ago. It was interesting that some fires took off over there in Ohio in the Cleveland Flats. They just spontaneously bust up. But that's just a sign to me that Ohio is in the crosshairs. We got to pay attention. And what's going on, the process that we're going on through is basically like a separation process with this system. Because a lot of, we've been crying for years. We getting shot up, killed. The police are not serving the community, you know. So of course we expect them to do, the taking part in the killing. Look how aggressive they are when they're approaching somebody black. Look at that. And look. Murder. Now, he almost shot his other police guy, and they all shot this boy 90 times. Shot at him 90 times, actually hit him 60. Now, they're not that aggressive when it comes to other people. Now, in this same area, I believe personally that because of the propaganda that was spread over this situation. There's another situation that happened in Akron, Ohio. And I'm just going to share the screen here. Hold on. So that, basically what happened back, we'll say about June 11th. So remember, we had what happened basically in a nutshell. This white kid, Ethan, and a few of his friends, they decided to get in their cars, drive at least 3 miles away from the area that they lived in to get these guns, these little pellet guns. They modified them. This is an example. This is not how the gun probably looked because we haven't actually seen the actual gun. But an example of how these guns look is like that. Now these are water inside these little pellets, and these water pellets can be frozen. They put them in this gun, and they pulled up to people at nighttime. Now keep in mind, we just had a New York shooting, mass murder, a Uvalde, Texas mass murder. And here it is. These young brothers are getting shot at by this young white boy here. And this is in Akron. This is just a few weeks earlier. All the propaganda in the white media is trashing the black guys. What happened is this white boy and his friends went out shooting at black people who were minding their business playing basketball. These black people decided to defend themselves, and his little friends ran and left him. This boy ended up getting stomped out, and he ended up dying. So now the black boys are charged with murder, and their names are, Deshaun Taylor, 2 brothers, and their cousin. So they're talking to Ethan's family. They having all these vigils for Ethan and his loved ones and talking about no violence. Now, keep in mind, he's the one that drove to the black guys. They arrested 3 black guys who they believe did this. And nobody's really heard from them. Okay, or their families. So here it is. They've been pumping this throughout the white media. Here's another little aspect of the white media. Let's see. Now this happened in LeBron. That white kid got killed in LeBron James's school. He got killed in LeBron James' school little parking lot. or basketball court. Now here, this is an example of what the white media is saying here. Let's listen to what this clown talking about. Joe Kinsley, I guess, or whoever this is.
Who is number one, I believe, most responsible for the tanking
Clay
value
Travis.
of the NBA brand is actually LeBron James. And LeBron James, of course, wasn't even in the playoffs this year because his entire team, the Lakers, is in unmitigated disaster. But I wanted to talk about something with you that I do believe is significant. And Joe Kinsey, who is one of our writers who does a great job at Outkick, Joe Kinsey wrote a piece about an unsolved murder that happened at LeBron James's school. Do you remember when LeBron James got all the attention for the high school in Akron that he had supposedly paid the entire amount for? It wasn't actually true, but most people in the media aren't that smart, and so they just followed along with it. Well, Monday, a 17-year-old was beaten to death in the parking lot of the I Promise school that LeBron James founded. LeBron has not said anything about this.
So notice that this guy, he's using, and this is just typical of the media because the media has been all on this situation. Now, keep in mind, this was like 19 days ago, about 20 days ago. All right, so this has been pulsating in the media. They've been trying to use this as an angle because they don't like LeBron James. They've been pushing out this Jonathan Sin, who's representing Deshaun Stafford, doesn't dispute that his client was at the scene and acknowledges his client grabbed. This is a $70 splatter ball water gun. $70. So this is it has very realistic. It has realistic sound. And the pellets in the gun are made of water, but they can be frozen. And I'm just showing people that this is an example of it. So we don't know if it was painted. We don't know what the actual gun looked, but it was at nighttime. And old Ethan went out there shooting at black kids playing basketball on the court. And he got into a fight as a result of that. And that fight ended up with him getting killed. Those black kids were not looking for him. He went there looking for them. They took the gun from him. They took that gun from him. Okay. They said that his client didn't move the car to prevent the friends from taking him to the hospital. The car was moved to keep Lyman and his friends on the scene until the police showed up, and they have the police call. So the bottom line is they're using the death of this white kid to try to at an angle attack LeBron James. So because this was connected to LeBron James' school, this became a very high profile incident, and it's been pulsating through the media for a while. And there's a lot of white people there in Ohio think that this is injustice. Now you see that, the police chief, Stephen Milet, let's look at this. So the medical examiner, hold on a second. Let's not look at this one yet. Hold on. All right, not that one. Just going through a couple things. Now, the bottom line is Akron. Yeah. So the bottom line is that these people, this police chief is feeding evidence to the media. There's no trial yet on the Ethan Lyman thing. They want LeBron James to make a statement on the white guy getting killed before there's a trial. Nobody knows what happened yet exactly. Okay. So a lot of white people in Ohio, Akron area were mad at LeBron James because of this kind of crap.
Situation. But I'm reading and I'm talking about this situation more than LeBron has because I think it's significant. This 17-year-old kid was murdered. Evidently, there was a parking lot fight between a group at a school that included this 17-year-old kid and at least 3 other men who were playing basketball at a school court. This kid, Ethan Lemming, was found dead at a...
So notice that they're calling him a kid, and they're calling the other guys that they're accusing of killing him men. Now, keep in mind, these are young men. They are technically men, but Ethan is just 17. Him and his friends drove there of their own will to play these so-called pranks on black kids, in that neighborhood, at least 3 miles from where they stay. So this is stuff that this guy's leaving out. Okay.
Around 11 p.m. in the parking lot of LeBron's school, and they say that he died from a blunt force to the head. Our condolences goes out to the family. That's all LeBron has said. He hasn't asked to help find the killer of 17-year-old Ethan Lemming. In fact, LeBron, who usually weighs in on all sorts of issues, has not said anything at all, despite the fact that this family is begging for help.
All right, so the white family is begging for help, which they have plenty of help. Okay, they're the sheriff of that city, Milet, is definitely on. He's spreading misinformation to the media. The undersigned swears. Donovan Jones took one of. Okay, so basically they're showing you that these are the arrest affidavits. They uncaught some people who they believe they want to accuse of these crimes. So Jonathan Sin, who's representing Deshaun Stafford. So these boys have attorneys, and this is a situation that is ongoing. Why would LeBron James say anything else? But they don't like LeBron James, so there you go. So now that's been brewing up in Akron, in Ohio. Remember, Tamir Rice got shot up, killed with a small toy gun. The police love to shoot people up. Columbus cops accused of saying Blue Lives Matter after Makai Bryant shooting. This was just a while back. This was 2021. The girl, Makai Bryant. The police were called to settle a domestic dispute. She came out of the house angry at one other girl with a butter knife. She had a butter knife, and the police killed her, even though the police had a taser on his arm.
Yes.
See?
Yeah, it's definitely insult.
You see? They're taunting the black people. 3 white officers say Blue Lives Matter. This is the type of police officer that you have sitting up in Columbus. They're in little gangs. They are angry. This is the type of police officer that you have there. This is not we live in a war zone here. This is not something that you're being told that you believe. Like these people are to serve you or try to keep the neighborhood safe and all that stuff. No, they're there to keep you contained so that you don't get too far out of line. This is what's happening. Hold on a second. We'll just stop it there. But the bottom line is, there you go. Blue Lives Matter. That's their, they like to laugh at people. So those are the same type of people who are there to investigate your crime, so-called crimes. When things happen, these people, you're going to rely on them to investigate for you. This is what you got. Are you going to try to reform this? No, you can't. You can't reform that. You have to replace that. That's the reason why I say abolish police, because you can't really reform that. But here we go. We got Makai Bryant. Then we have, of course, here's another one. We also always have the people are basically being killed daily. But, of course, that's just normal. People are being desensitized. These are the three black guys that they arrested on suspicion of killing Ethan Liming in Akron, Ohio. So now we have the situation here. Today, we got Jalen Walker with his mother and his sister standing there. The same city, the police. I mean, when you see these police officers unload on this brother, the anger, the sheer rage, and, so the boy runs on foot. He's running on foot. Yeah. Yeah, they're giving the false information to the media. That's what I believe. I believe that the murder of Mr. Walker, the sheer amount of I mean, if we look at this, we look right at this here. Let's look here. Come on. Okay. You see, look, all of those police officers. One guy, he's running from you. Okay, look, just in this clip here. One with his hand, he's about to kill him. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A person is running away from you. They're not shooting backwards as they're running away. They're running. They're trying to escape you. There's no, like in the movies, they lied to us in the movies. They told us that, they would chase you. And they would chase y'all down the street and jump over fences and stuff. And no, they get into this little formation. They part ways, and then somebody raises their hand, and here we go. The death begins. See? 90 shots. They literally hit him 60 times, meaning he was not moving. That means they just kept firing. He was down on the ground. He was already down. And they seen him on the ground. They continued to shoot. They literally riddled his body with bullets. They pulled over 60 bullets out of that guy. Exactly. Yeah. So that's the reason why I do believe this is the murder of Mr. Walker, white retaliation for Ethan Liming. I think it has something to do with the way that the media covered Ethan Liming, the energy that they put into that, into trying to kind of get LeBron James in on it. Somehow they're going to attack LeBron James. This is the kind of crap we live. This is a war zone. These people have declared war on the little black people, unarmed people. That's what they've done. So what do we do? We don't have the firepower that they have. So of course, black folks are going to start, we're going to do our protests. We're going to do our boycotts, those regular normal things, because we don't have the kind, and then they come down there with all the, what they want to show you how much military gear that they got to scare you. They have a guy on Twitter that says he's in the military. If they shoot you that way in a war zone, in a declared war zone, if they shoot you that way, that guy's going to jail. Like I said, this is cops in Ohio. They kill kids with guns, with toy guns like Tamir Rice, and then they get off scot-free and rehire the officer. They kill young girls. 16-year-old Makai Bryant dead with real guns, even though a taser was sitting right on the man's hip. Kill her, and that's that. You got down here in Texas. Let's see here. Remember Atiana Jefferson, the cop, Aaron Dean? Aaron Dean snuck up on the side of this woman's house. This is in Texas now. Aaron Dean snuck up on the side of Atiana Jefferson's house while she was playing video games with her child, or with the child. She's in her house playing a video game. And this guy sneaks up on the side of the house, murders her. That's the kind of training these people come up with. And we're supposed to pretend like, there's nothing going on. We're supposed to just pretend like that's nothing. And then when we respond to it, if black folks respond to it in a way that people should respond to stuff, you're told that something's wrong with you. Aaron Dean, this is a cop trained. He's sneaking on the side of this woman's house and just opens fire in her house, from outside of her house into her house, killing her. That's what he does. That's a cop. They back the badge, huh? This is the kind of stuff that these guys like to do. And I just want to document that, guys, because this is crazy. Now here we go, looking at Atiana Jefferson's case. They kept delaying this case. It's clearly murder, but let's look.
And still, Aaron Dean is charged in the 2019 murder of Atiana Jefferson. The case had been overseen by Judge David Hagerman. Dean's attorneys now want a new judge in the trial. Lily Zhang is live in Fort Worth with more on this. Lily.
Well, Meredith, today's hearing was before Justice Lee Gabriel. She just announced a few minutes ago that she will not be making a decision today. 11 witnesses testified before her, and many of them are criminal defense attorneys in Tarrant County. All were present for a June 3rd hearing before Judge Hagerman over scheduling conflicts. Witnesses testified that Hagerman appeared irritated and hostile towards the defense. They also testified that they did not believe Dean could get a fair trial under Judge.
Now look, they're saying that this cop can't even get a fair trial under a white man. That's how clear this is, that this is a murderer.
Hagerman. The state, however, noted that Judge Hagerman has acted that way towards both the state and defense at times, and the judge has granted every motion filed by the defense to delay. The trial, which was supposed to begin on June 21st, was the fourth date they agreed on. The state also noted that witnesses...
See, they just keep delaying the case. Delay.
Presented today had never been present for any other hearing related to Aaron Dean. Now, prosecutors did not present any witnesses of their own for this hearing today. The judge did not give a specific date on when she may return with a decision, but she said it could possibly be sometime next week. We're live in Fort Worth. Lily Zhang, NBC5.
So that's what we got going on with Atiana. They're trying to keep on pushing it back so that people will forget about what that dirty, trashy cop did, Aaron Dean. That's what they're doing. They're trying to keep pushing that back. And at the same time, here it is. They want new money. They want money. So the cops in Atlanta want to build a new facility to train the cops on how to be more intensive, more insane on how they police people, especially black people. That's what they want to do. And let me show you something here on Twitter, if I got it. Did I keep it up? Maybe I didn't keep that up. But anyway, that's what I mean. This is what I'm saying. I want to show something here. We want to go to, yeah. Cops will threaten the judges too if they don't comply. Well, the thing is here, this is why I said we live in a war zone. You actually live in a war zone, and really it's about to become the whole planet. You know why it's a war zone and it's about to become the whole entire planet is because what happened, America is a declining power. And as it declines, it has a score to settle. They don't want to decline and have the people that they've been they don't want to have the people that they have been oppressing for hundreds of years to simply take over. That will irk them so bad. That will irk them so bad. If black people take over, that so what they got to do is but unfortunately, James, because you won't have 5 or 6 kids, since the good people don't want to have children, the whole the whole and teach kids from the ground up decent, what they want to do is they want to just have nutcase barbarians and weirdos take over the running of government. And since that's going on, and they keep passing it on to their weirdo kids, and since it's less and less weirdo kids, there's these families like the Allen Dulles and Foster Dulles and some of these families who love making war with everyone. These guys, they're running out. So what they need to do is they need to make war with try to settle some of these old scores. So they're mixing it up with Russia and trying to get the Ukraine going. They're just stirring up a bunch of crap. And that stuff is happening here at home too. They think they want to run this country through a military. And the military is the police. That's what they're doing. And this is a last ditch effort of the ruling elite. What they call elite. I mean, they're not really elite anymore because they're weak. Their weaknesses is showing. We can see them. He said, yeah. Hey man, you need a couple kids, James. Settle you down. But the thing is though, these ruling people, these guys, they got all these little plans for the world. And now they see their plans going down the tube because they're not able to implement them. So I think that's where they're stirring up all this trouble, because all this propaganda, all this division, it's coming from them. It's coming from these governments who want to control everyone. And really, these are Western world governments. They trick everybody to make everybody think that, somehow the world's going to just, everybody's going to be suffering and, or something like that just because they lose influence and power. They want to rule everything by force. Everything has to be done through military occupation. And that's what you got with these police. So that's what I think that happened up there in Ohio. We're going to see that situation turn into a powder keg. This is stuff been going. I'm showing years of stuff. Here's something else. Oh.
More cops came rushing the house. And I'm laying there screaming, asking somebody to help my granddaughter, because he just shot her in the head. And he wouldn't even help her. They turned on the light and seen that she had been shot and carried out the house.
So when you see this type of pain that's continuously being, meted upon a group of people over and over and over again, what happens? And then at the same time, you see mass murderers, You see mass murderers. This guy, I think he did get killed. This was the Virginia Tech shooter. These mass murderers, these people who get killed, and these people who threaten to kill, when you see these kind of things, and these people are taken alive, yet on the slightest, problem, upon the slightest fear or thought of fear of threaten, then you persistently, on black people. People are sick of it. People are sick and tired. People start listening to guys like Minister Farrakhan more because he started talking about reparations and separation. Yeah, but the thing is, people stop getting sick of it. People stop, they stop. What they do, they don't become fearful. What these people think, they think they're going to make a bunch of people scared, afraid, and just completely docile that way. That's not the effect. The effect is you're radicalizing everybody. You're radicalizing everyone. And so the people who they would turn away from in the past and think these guys were too radical start to sound a lot more, people start to understand it now. People start to really understand, like, oh, that's what he means. It's separation or death now, because we're getting killed in the streets because we don't want to be slaves anymore. So now, it's going to be what's going to end up happening here. So I'm going to end off with this. I'm going to let you guys listen to this here. And then we're going to end off. I just wanted to get some of this out. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I got something else to put on, because I don't want to make this too long. We're already a little bit long here. But, I haven't done any live for a few months. Well, not for a few months, for a few weeks, because I've been working, guys. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, this situation, we do need our organizations, and especially media organizations. And we have, when we have people, look at this here. You can't ask them anything.
Officers were instructed whether or not to wear name tags or not.
No comment, please.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir, my name is Molly Walsh. I'm with the Beacon Journal. I just was wondering whether officers were instructed whether or not to wear name tags or not.
No comment, please.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir, my name is Molly Walsh. I'm with the Beacon Journal. I just was wondering whether
the officers, they take off their name tags. They're real good at it. They're gonna commit some offenses, and you're not going to be able to find out who they are. That's what they are. That's what they're doing. The protest is going on. And now we do see a lot of white people out too. And that's just showing you that, and I know that they get beat up by the police as well, and the cops as well. But nobody wants to live under a military occupation. Why don't they just start using this money to invest in common sense, programs for people to live better, quality of life issues? This is not what they want. They don't want your quality of life to increase. So people are out in the street. People are out in the street. This is what's going on, guys. People are out here in the street. It costs money, it costs lives. This is a war zone. So Atlanta wants to fund, they want $90 million for the people to fund a thing called Cop City. in a place called the Bedford Forest, which was Nathan Bedford Forrest, which was a KKK. One of the guys was the founding members of the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan in America. Okay, so Atlanta Police Foundation is trying to build the largest police training facility. This is a military facility here in Wolani Forest, a watershed surrounded by primarily Black residents who overwhelmingly oppose the project. The plans include military-grade training facilities, a mock city to practice urban warfare, dozens of shooting ranges, and a Black Hawk helicopter landing pad. Okay, you live in a war zone. They did, and what is this going to do? What is that going to do? Is that supposed to make people safe? Who's that going to make safe? The residents don't want it. Remember what happened in Chicago? Everybody's talking about Chicago. But back in 2017, they funded a new facility for Chicago police, a $95 million police fire and training academy planned for Garfield Park. Have we heard of Chicago becoming any safer? That was about 5 years ago. Yep, they're talking about the new campus is designed to address serious concerns outlined by the U.S. Justice Department in its investigation of the Chicago Police Department that found officers graduate from the 5-month academy unprepared to police lawfully and effectively. Okay, a 30.4 acre facility in Chicago. You know, Chicago still all these unsolved murders, crimes, killing, murders, people still getting killed, notorious all around the planet. So what are these facilities actually for? They're not here to make anybody safer. The community doesn't become safer. These are just urban warfare facilities to run everything through the means of force and not quality of life. That's all this is. Yeah, and it's more than money, it's control. Because the dollar is running out too. Russia is forcing everybody to pay for them their services valuables, which is gold, or they must pay in rupees. If you want wheat, you want to make bread, it must be in rupees. So they're projecting a global famine. So everybody's going to be starving in a little while. In a little while, everybody's going to be starving. This is a result of these so-called smart elites, these people that go to Harvard, their colleges. This is what's going on. You have experts, so-called. These experts are predicting a famine. Experts. This is the CDC. Is that Robert Redfield? Experts are actively predicting an impending global famine. So 2021 was a terrible year because the pandemic caused a number of hungry people in the world to grow by 25%. The year 2022 promises to be even worse as a consequence of war. A triple crisis is therefore expected: food, energy, and finances. As a result, they say 2023 will be the most terrible. Experts write about it, but somehow we do not hear it. It is almost as if we don't care. What can we do? Okay, so we get into the solution phase. The solution sounds radical, but because we are living in radical times, it's not really that radical. Yeah, they will be too. They're going to make sure that America's already starving. They can't eat oil. Yeah, the people, there's enough land here to grow, so we don't need them to grow. But what they're doing, because they have that global economy, the globalists, because of that, they want everybody to pay for stuff and ship it overseas, which is going to clog up because of wars. You're going to have problems shipping things from China, from Russia, because they're going to want to blockade America like America blockades everyone else. They're going to want to return those sanctions. So the people here, it will be starvation. And then, of course, that means that there'll be retaliation from America. So, like I said, the whole earth is going to become a war zone, guys. But it's okay. How do you get through this? You need to understand, you got to start learning how to do without certain creature comforts. Yeah, exactly. And this is true. This is the problem. America is going down due to its own fault. Yeah, very simple solutions, but they won't do it. Okay, it's very simple. This stuff could be solved really, and literally, really within a few. I would give it, if they start doing the very reasonable, simple solutions. Most of these problems, the main problems that we're having nowadays, most of them would taper down, well, right away, but they would be pretty much cleaned up. Even racism and slavery and all that stuff, you can get that stuff cleared up within about 20 to 30 years. And you would have a better future because you would take down a lot of tension. But no, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that, because to do that would mean that these certain people could not rule anymore. They couldn't run everything. Right. And this thing with socialism and communism, them demonizing Karl Marx and like it's just the end of the world for anybody to consider anything else. It's just, it's like, these are just economic choices. You find out what works and you do what works. Sometimes this works now, this works in this situation, this works in it, but they don't want to think like that. Without capitalism, okay, then the means of production is coming out of the hands of the ruling elites. Okay. There's a certain group of people that win always. Their families, their whole group wins under what we call capitalism, the worship of capital. So that's really the worship of capital. Okay. And if you even mix and match those situations, well, we'll say, well, here in this situation, capitalism is better for a free market because it has all this great activity here. But when we're talking about maybe healthcare, or maybe when we're talking about food security, maybe we don't want capitalism there, because food security you may not want. Right now they have China buying properties up over here in, I believe, in North Dakota or North Carolina or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, they won't do the solutions because there's certain people, they're looking at themselves as individuals, as individual families, as individual communities, and they really don't care about anything else but them as a group. There's little cliques, they're little individual families. So that's how that works. So the thing is, the changing of when there's a war, basically a war zone, and there's a conflict. So one side is going down, the other side is going up. They're going down because of their own fault, but they want to sabotage those who are coming up, and it gives them time to recover, and maybe they can overtake you later. Right. You see? Yeah. So the thing is, the bottom line is, this is geopolitical. It's coming down to it's showing up in the streets. Like I said, you got the global warming situation showing up here. This is in Cleveland, Ohio. You got the over policing situation. And these situations, the lying, all of that, all of these situations are due to the fact that in here, yeah, All of these situations are due to the fact that they don't want to solve the problem of racism, which is actually simple to solve. It's actually, it was simple to solve, but they don't want to do it because they hate a particular group of people so much. So we're gonna end it off here. Here it is. We're gonna go outline this, and then this will be ended this particular stream.
Look, let me go over there a minute.
Now, each one of those little sections on this boat here is a bale of cotton. Okay, a bale of cotton. Now, think about how much labor it took. Now, I think each one of those bales is like 1,000 pounds or something like. It's a lot because each person has to pick 500 pounds of cotton, and I think a bale, I think it's almost like 5,000 pounds each one of those. But they pack it and they put it on these boats like that, and they stack it up. Think about how much labor just one of these boats it took to create one of these boats like that. How much time it took to create that boat. Okay, now keep in mind, this is why the police was even created. To protect from this, to go hunt slaves. So this is the reason why the police, the culture of that system, what it needs to do is abolish police, and you replace it with a security service whose their foundation is security of the community. Okay, you replace the police, the legacy of that entire culture, you get rid of it and you start something else off, with the origin of good. But the police are started off with this kind of origin. Okay, their origin is to capture, hunt, it's not about solutions. It's not about trying to get people to change behaviors and all that crap. None of that. It's just hunt, jail, money.
Look here. You see these bales? Black people picked this cotton and got less than 50 cents per bale. And white folk got millions. And that's why they can, through trade and commerce, they can lead in mathematics and science because their money puts them where they want to go. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think, after making America rich and strong and fighting in all her wars, making Europe strong, do you think that we are owed reparations for what we have done to make America what America is? If you think so, stand up on your feet. All punks, sit down. Shit. Well, all right. If that's what you think, and there are black people right now in Mississippi in slavery, in Alabama in slavery, and a black man is appealing to Congress to right this wrong, he can't get a hearing. We got over 400,000 black men and women in the United States Armed Forces. What are they doing in Iraq? What are they doing in Afghanistan?
Now, keep in mind, this was back in, I think this was back in 2010. So this was a while ago. But I just wanted to show that because That is the solution. The solution is to just go ahead and right these old wrongs. You got to get rid of that old racism, that old idea that blacks are not supposed to have anything, that it's our job to continue to keep away from them. We must keep them, and we must keep them scared. You know, they want to counterbalance, because what's going to happen with that is you're going to have an imbalance, and you're going to have an internal struggle. You're going to have a warfare situation. And that's why this country, America, is going down the tube, because it's been at war with a significant part of its population. And that's just how it is. So if they want to fix that, it's a simple fix. It won't hurt anybody, won't kill anybody. Everybody will still be able to take care of themselves. But it's just that they don't like these type of people. These type of people have skin that's a little bit too dark. They talk a different way sometimes. You know, that's it. That's the only reason why. And then maybe they feel bad. Maybe if they admit that maybe their ancestors didn't do something right, maybe they feel bad or something. They got to get over all that shit. But that's the bottom line, guys. Thank you guys for coming through. Thanks to James. James kept the chat hype. But yeah, we went through a few little things I just wanted to go through. And, you know, we have to go through this little process. It's a process. See, like, it's easier to say the solution, and people are like, well, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? We're doing what we can do. All you can do is figure out the best way to put yourself to survive as this world goes through the process that it has to go through. All of this conflict has to happen because the more people understand what needs to happen faster, the faster the process will go through. It's about what people believe and understand. People say that people's opinions don't matter, but they do. Because what people believe, then they're more apt to do. So that's it. Peace.